Well, we've been talking to a lot of people associated with the athletic department about Dave England's impact and just learning about what kind of a man he was, and just what was your relationship like with him? I'm sure you two had several communications because his job was so important to the success of your program.
He was tremendous. I mean, I don't know what adjective that would describe how important he was, not only to me, but to the university and to the community in which he lived. Dave, had a nickname called Diamond. And when you talk about a diamond, that's what he was. I can say that more than half of the wins had something to do with David being able to keep young men on the floor, being able to keep them playing. I can remember some of the players would be disgusted because he either didn't let you play and he worked you while he didn't play. He was my right hand. If he said you couldn't do it, then it wouldn't be done. So I tell my players, if you think you need something hurt, go see Diamond. If Diamond excuse you, you excuse. If Diamond says go to work, you go to work. And Diamond was always, he knew all their problems. So he took a lot to make sure that the coach didn't have to deal with a lot of other problems that they would have. We all trusted him. He was the most trustworthy guy you could imagine. We loved him. I got a chance to work with him pretty close to 17 years. And in that time, we got to know each other pretty well. I trusted him. He trusted me. I could never say anything other than thank Dave for helping me become who I became from a basketball standpoint.
It really, in everyone we've talked to, and you kind of mentioned it there, it seems, the players and the coaches are the ones that get on TV and the newspaper, but it's the athletic trainers, kind of those behind the scenes. Those are really, without them, you really have, you don't have a program, am I right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's why I say that he was in charge, nobody knew, except me and him. He was really in charge of giving me the right advice about a young man. So he was the biggest part that I think in our run, our good seasons, Dave England had a lot to do with it.
And it seems like it wasn't just a job for him. He really had a love for Arkansas, would you say?
Oh, man. This guy was the baseball trainer without pay. He was basketball. At one while, he was a football trainer. I mean, he did it. Wherever they called him, he was on his way. And he loved the university, big time. And that you can read about how long he's been here. I believe he's been here probably 36, 37 years. That's a long time for anybody to survive one school.
We talked to Ronnie Brewer about him yesterday, and it seemed like for Ronnie and maybe some other players, he was kind of a shoulder to lean on. Not while you're getting treatment, you're also talking about your day, talking about your life. Did you see that with your players?
All the time. Dave knew more about the players than any other coach on the campus, including myself. Dave knew their family life. They confided in him. He knew their love life. He knew everything about it. And he made sure that what he would talk about, they wouldn't mind sharing with him. And that's trust. And I think he was the most trustworthy guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah, we've heard so many great things about him. I'm sad that I didn't get to meet him personally, but he was such a special part of what you did here. I mean, how special does that bring back memories of just the people you worked with in general? How special was that group, especially in '94 for you?
Well, like I said, with Dave England kind of running the show for all the years that I was here, basically, you couldn't have asked for a better, have a job that had all the pieces. And the most important piece that's behind the scene is the trainer. You know, if he's not capable of helping the youngsters to overcome some of their fears, then you don't really have a trainer. Dave England could do that.
And I'm sure he was in Charlotte with you in '94. Just can you remember just seeing him in the locker room celebrating?
Oh, they celebrated. They had hand slap, knee slap, head slap, butt slap, everything. Everything took place in that dressing room. We were able to say hello to the president. He was in the dressing room. I mean, it was a riot in there, a controlled riot, as I call it.
Controlled riot. I like that. I like that. I mean, I was only 3 years old when that happened, but like I said, I've got the Coke bottles of with the signature, with the win and the score over Duke. Did you know? I mean, I guess just when you're in that moment, I'm sure it's hard to really cherish it. But just all these years later, looking back now, does the moment just get more special as time goes on?
I think there's no question about it. The excitement of winning your first national championship for the university was exciting. As time goes by, as I always told my players, it's another year coming. And if we're here, we got a chance to try to do it again. So celebrate now and get ready for tomorrow's. But we don't have a game tomorrow. You always have a game. And so it had to become special each year that goes by, and you look back how hard it is to get to the Final Four, and then how hard it is, and look at all the schools that have never been to a Final Four that have been said how great programs they have. It goes bigger. It gets much bigger than you ever dreamed it would. You know, so as years go by, it seemed like only yesterday we won a national championship.
And it wasn't, I mean, you also had other teams, several teams that went to the Final Four. So just from the training staff to the players to the GAs, I mean, what is the legacy that you hope is that entire group from the early 90s?
You know, I've always had a philosophy of basically what I said if I should leave the earth tomorrow or today or whenever, I just don't think the good man upstairs is going to ask me how many games I won. But he might just ask me how many lives I've touched. And so I'm saying that for my basketball. If I touched your life in any way, and it was hopefully positive, then I have done my job.
I love that. And then I guess just we also lost Mike Nail. So if you had a comment on
Mike Nail was in a similar situation. If you were walking down the street and Mike Nail spoke, you'd recognize his voice because he was the voice of the Razorbacks. And I did a radio show with him every day. So I got a chance to visit with him quite a bit, and over those 17 years, he was a good, strong person who gave his best in trying to describe a game to people who could not make it, to make them understand what was going on. We had several conversations about that. And so Mike, God bless his soul in peace, was truly a good man.